Okay, we are on filmsgonewild.com. My name is John Wildman. I'm the editor-in-chief of Films Gone Wild. Right now we're at the Naples International Film Festival, and we're going to talk about a documentary. We literally just finished doing the Q&A, the first screening for this film, which I'm a big fan of. The title is Remembering Big, the Chichi Rodriguez story. We have with us Maricel Gonzalez, director, producer, Alina Mogion-Volk, also director, producer, and as I said in the Q&A, they also did their own camera work. I think you edited? You edited as well, as I thought, and did craft services. They did everything. This twosome, this was the whole crew right here, damn near. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Our audience has likely not seen the film yet, so introduce us to the Chichi Rodriguez story.
Well, you have the microphone, so go for it. Okay. So Remembering Big is essentially Chichi Rodriguez telling his story from his own perspective, from how he got started in Puerto Rico and how he came to find his foundation and really his true calling in life beyond golf.
Now, one of the things that, and I always hate duplicating questions, so I may ask you a couple things that we talked about in the Q&A, but we also really want to talk about filmmaking here. And one thing that we actually ended with was your use of animation in this film, because you have a career that spanned a few decades, and those earlier decades, not so much on the footage, and so to tell the story. So talk about that. Talk about not only the decision to use the animation, but also the process and how you went about doing that.
So the idea to use the animation came pretty early on because we knew from the get that there wasn't going to be a lot of footage or even photographs from Chichi's early years. So I had been kind of playing around with different types of animation. We had seen like Lady in the Dale and other documentaries that I thought used animation really wisely, and had proposed to Marisol that we give it a try, and we did some tests and she liked it. And then we were very fortunate. She had known some graphic designers that from Colombia that shown interest in working with us, and so we kind of gave them our ideas, some storyboards, and then they came back to us with just the style, and they were just phenomenal partners, and really they kind of got it. Like they understood like the way Chichi spoke, and I had shared with them like some of the tests, and it just kind of worked out. Like
yes. I think that one of the things that we wanted to make sure was it wasn't like comical. Like he was funny, but we wanted to make it like very soft, very delicate, but funny. So it was the idea of him thinking big. So you're gonna see some exaggeration of things, but not like making fun of him. So that was like something very it was a purpose that we wanted to make sure.
I complimented you during the Q&A about the fact that I believe in the very best ways that there are elements of this is just like a home movie, and we're just sitting in his living room, and you just turn the camera on and just let him go on. And of course, that's not really what you did, because you're actually directing. And that's the question I want you to start with on this, which is when you have a strong personality like Chichi Rodriguez, he knows exactly what he wants to say. He knows exactly his image and his look. And yet, the two of you are trying to tell a story. And that story may include some elements that he's not so super keen on getting out there. And you've got to steer this personality around to at least get him to comment something. Not that he's going to like fully fess up on things or what have you, but he needs to give you an avenue so you can lead into those to tell his full story. Talk about how the two of you worked with him to get him to do that.
Well, I don't know how you. I'm sorry. I don't know how you feel about this, but like it was very hard because he's as you said he had a very big personality. And he has always something to say. So it was we did a lot of research before we went there, and we had a very clear idea of what we wanted. Of course, like everything, it didn't come exactly the way we wanted. But that helped us a lot. Like we had like key questions, and every time he went trying to talk about something else, one of us were like, okay, no, go back to this. So it took hours, hours of him, and we let him be. And then I'm not gonna lie to you. At least I don't know how Alina feels about this, but like it took time for us to like take. It was kind of hard to take everything because it was like non-stop, like so it was that was part of the process.
Yeah, I think Marisol just wrapped it up pretty perfectly. Like that's exactly what it was. It was a free-ranging conversation that took time to kind of craft and put together. But that was kind of the beauty of it. We wanted him to feel relaxed and to feel that he could just talk to us, and we didn't want to shape him. Like he had to just the idea was that we wanted him to tell his story, and he was going to tell it, and we had to work with what we had.
Question I oftentimes ask documentarians is a moment of epiphany where either during the interviews you're conducting or footage that you're receiving or even in the editing base you're putting stuff together where you go, I thought the movie was this, but now this moment or this thing he said just revealed what this movie actually is. And I'm wondering if the two of you maybe have been in a different situation, different moment for either, but did that happen here? Because, again, he's a straightforward figure, but there's also a lot of stuff that we don't know without seeing your film.
Yeah. So I can say that for me, a lot of it was when we went to the USGA museum and we were speaking with the director there, and we asked him, what was the difference between Chi-Chi and the PGA and Chi-Chi and the Champions Tour, and just really getting that sense. And other people had kind of said it, but I think he said it the most clear at the time, was just feeling the love. And once that stress of being able to be himself was lifted, that he became a better player, just overall. Like he really flourished once he was able to just truly be himself. That and just the fact that he was just honestly, I think we knew going in that he honestly was just a super generous person. But yeah, for me.
Yeah, the same thing to me. I think we went into the film with this idea of just telling his, what people already knew about him. So when he opened up to us. He talked about moments with his father, moments with when he decided to do a foundation for kids, and he broke down in tears. That was the moment I was like, okay, maybe we have something else here. It's not what we thought. We had a whole idea. We want this, and then we came back. And at the beginning, we were like, oh, maybe we didn't. And then when we watched the footage, we're like, oh my God, we have something else. And then going to the museum, the director, he summarized so well what we saw that day. He captured exactly what we want people to remember him by. So I think that was the main thing. Doing a documentary, you begin with something and you end with something else. We're very happy what we ended with.
The final question I have for the two of you, and you talked again in the Q&A about having moments where you're going, is our financing even going to happen? Are we ever going to pull this off? Whatever. And of course, you go into any sports documentary now that deals with sports figures, and you think about ESPN's 30 for 30, and you think in this case you got the Golf Channel, the Golf Network, or whatever, and so, clearly, I mean, I didn't see their credits up on the thing, so they weren't producers on this, as far as I know, which makes me think that it really was dynamic duo here doing it. So my question though is, now that it's done, and now you were able to make it through the finish line, and and you got a screen, are you now a little bit relieved that you go, we got to make the movie we made without having a boardroom full of notes and that kind of thing?
Well, I'm gonna speak for myself. Yes, we made the movie that we wanted to make, and we had that liberty. Yes, we had to fund it ourselves. Alina edited. We were working hard. We had we wore so many different hats, but we made the movie that we thought we need to make and like that Chi, I think he is wherever he is, he's so proud of this movie because it's about him. It's about his deed, what he did for the kids, and his legacy. So sometimes sometimes the networks, they want something different. So not having that pressure of making them happy, that gave us so much liberty.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think we were able to focus on the things that were important to Chi. Like, we focused on the things that he wanted to talk about. He wanted to focus on his family. He wanted to focus on his foundation, and he didn't even care so much about like what records he had. Like those were like the main things he cared about, was just knowing. Like, he wanted to emphasize that he came from nothing, but he finished, a success, and that was what was important for him, was to just let kids know.
What he said, if I could do it, you could do it. That was his motto. Like, yes.
Yeah. Well, again, I think it's just a wonderful look at a man's life, not just the sporting accomplishments, but I think he really did. And as I said, I think he did him proud. I think he would be really delighted by it. So,
Thank
Alina and
you so
Marisol,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Can we take a picture?